Do you prefer the Pope of Trash, the Prince of Puke, or is it Mr. Waters if you're nasty?
Well, here's the thing. I didn't proclaim any of them about myself. William Burroughs called me the Pope of Trash. The Baltimore Sun, in a pro-editorial about me, called me the Prince of Puke. And you can call me John. You don't have to call me Mr. Waters.
John, would you tell me a little bit about your new spoken word show, It's Going to Extremes? What can we expect? And then tell me a little bit about your process in coming up with this performance.
Well, I have to rewrite a new show twice a year. Once my regular show and once the Christmas show. The Christmas show is it gets turned into it a little bit. This year it's a religious revival. It's a sermon, basically. And it's about we're living in such an extreme times that we have to go further with humor. Humor is political. Humor is the way we change things. So every year I have to come up with 70 minutes of it. It's like writing a little new book every year, basically. And so it keeps me on my toes. It keeps me up to date. That's why I read 10 newspapers a day. That's why I eavesdrop on people. I'm always have little cubicles in my office where I throw ideas.
Have you eavesdropped on anything interesting lately?
I'm trying to remember. The thing that makes me the most insane is on airplane when people are on speakerphone getting their cancer diagnosis from their doctor. We don't want to hear your business meeting. Please shut up. And I hate people that talk on their phones like to each other and watch sitcoms without earphones, because I live in airports. I'm on a plane every day. So it makes me crazy. And how people dress. Oh my God. Why do grown men wear shorts in November? It doesn't make you look butch. It makes you look like an adult baby.
Why don't people dress in general for everything? I mean, going on a plane used to be an event.
It used to be, and people got dressed to go on planes. People always, when I do Halloween shows, they always say, "Did your audience come in costume?" I said, "How would I know? They're in Halloween costumes every day."
Look at me.
You look great. But my audience gets dressed for me. They do, and I honor them for that. They come, they get dressed up for it. Yes.
We love it. You did just record the performances of your screenplays for an upcoming collection. What surprised you maybe most about revisiting those scripts in today's eyes, today's voice?
I think when I read every part of 6 screenplays of mine, the most embarrassing were the sex scenes. But the parts that were badly written, and I noticed plot points and stuff, and there's a few of them, which I talk about in my show tonight. So reading it was just like how rude. It's ruder now. They're worse than they ever were. But I'm so respectable I could puke now for the same movies, and they're much worse now because of political correctness. And of course, now there is no political correctness either. Now the right wing is woke and has trigger words. Yeah.
What would you say one of those trigger words are?
Obviously diverse. Just trans, anything makes people go crazy. But I love the idea that all these people think trans, they think they're all murderers now. Well, Psycho was the first one. Anthony Perkins. Remember at the end they explain what transvestism is and stuff? You think back on it, that's so weird. That should have like trans pickets now.
I think about what camp is today. And
no one says the word camp. It's old queens in 1960 in an antique shop talking about Rita Hayworth mirror movies under a Tiffany lampshade. That is camp.
I'm not even going to finish the question. I think that's fantastic.
They always say to me, then it became trash, it became filth, and now it's American humor.
RuPaul's Drag Race, Dragula, that made it mainstream.
No. I give Ru great credit. He made drag middle America, and I mean that as a compliment. That's why Trump's never getting rid of drag. He can't. And Divine made all drag queens edgier.
Is there anything that you wish maybe younger filmmakers understood about making something that's original today? The way we consume media, the way things are created and very easily put out there for everyone to see. It's almost immediate.
Yeah, but it might be immediate, but what movie has caused a sensation on the internet? None. I'm for the internet. I look at it all the time, too. And but at the same time, I mean, I need chatterbait. I have to learn how to do some of the things.
You are often referred to as a cultural icon.
That just means I'm old.
But who was John Waters for you when you were growing up?
I wrote a whole book called Role Models about all the people that made me believe that I could do what I want. And I'm happy to be that for some people today. People tell me they am, and that's all you need. one person somewhere that thinks, God, I'm lost, I don't fit in here. But then you read about it and say, oh my God, I don't have to fit in. There's a whole other world. There's Bohemia. And Bohemia was always what I'm looking for. It's still what I'm looking for. Not gay or straight. That's so square. I mean, it isn't today. Gay isn't better or worse. I'm not a separatist. I have friends without benefits. It's square is just like some, oh God, it's like so annoyingly correct. Or datedly correct.
I like datedly correct. Yeah. You seem to have an affinity for that 1950s housewife archetype, and we see it in Polyester and Serial Mom, Hairspray. What emotional truth do you find in that character?
Well, I grew up in the 50s. You grow up, the first thing you remember. My mom was like that, but it wasn't thought of to be bad. My mother would get furious. Said, how dare you say I didn't work? I raised 4 children. I ran a house. I did, So I grew up with that. My parents had a very happy 70-year marriage. So I come from great. I don't have anything to bitch about. My parents, that's why I believe I don't get open marriages and don't get married. I don't get threesomes. Who wants to be the lettuce?
I don't.
Even in a sandwich, the lettuce gets plucked out after it gets old.
It gets wilted, and no one wants to deal with that.
Yeah.
Do you still worry about spontaneous combustion?
Well,
as a Catholic myself.
Spontaneous combustion, I don't know that I worried about it. I prayed it would happen. I mean, that's how I'd like to die. In an airport. In first class on Air Paris.
On the plane first.
First class airport. No, I don't want to crash the plane, though, which it might. I guess in the lounge at Air Paris. Being just so happy, just still doing all the things I want to do and having enough success where I can still do it for 60 years.
You have championed that unforgettable beauty. It is drag queens. It is big girls. It is imperfect smiles. How did your vision of beauty form as an artist?
Because I always said beauty is looks you can't forget. The things that people use against you, you exaggerate it and you turn it into a style and you win. I love beautiful girls that make themselves ugly on purpose. In the punk world, they do that. I had a line, beauty, beauty, look at you. I wish to God I had it too. Well, ugly, ugly, we like that too. If you make yourself ugly and beauty in the world that I live in, there's no such dividing line as that. It can be both. And there's people, the chubby chase, there's people that like everything. There's somebody for everybody, believe me. I didn't know about Roman shower queens. That's the people that like be puked on. So, there's somebody for everybody.
I was grown up, girls with glasses don't get passes.
Girls that wear glasses don't. Yeah, something like that. That's true. That's true. And do people say that today? I mean, now the glasses are so hip and cool that they make. I don't know. I think to me, you can be. I talk tonight about beauty, what it is, and about the kind of minorities that I'm looking for, and the new kind of the spin on everything, having butch twinks, things that there aren't, diesels with measles.
Characters like human beings, Edith Massey, we have Divine. They were obviously willing to go above and beyond for you.
That's what Mink says. We just went for it. It wasn't like, we just went for it. We did it. It was group madness. And all kids that make their first movies do it with their friends. And I just had good friends. And at the same time, we just did it. We went for it and we did it. And we didn't ask for approval. But right from the beginning, from the first movie I ever shown, it was sold out. People came. People might not have liked it. Well, the people that came liked it. The critics didn't like it and everything. But I always had an audience. I was always understood. I was not misunderstood in show business ever.
Was it easy keeping Edith and Divine happy during filming, or was it something that you had to figure out over time?
Edith was happy. Edith worried so much about forgetting her lines, and she was not good at memorizing lines, so the other cast sometimes and me would lose patience. Edith was fine. She hated the outfits. She loved playing Queen Carlotta because she liked the costume. Divine was always happy. Divine was happy on a movie set. We all, I think, were a happy group. It was torture to make those movies. People said, you have fun. Fun after 15 hours in the trailer in the middle of the winter with poor Edith sitting there in girdle and bra in the winter. It wasn't fun, but I look back on it and I'm proud of the work. But we were obsessed by doing it. That's all. We didn't question it. We didn't think it was weird. We just did it.
Your work has always walked that fine line between that true heart and being extremely provocative. How do you think that about risk now? And in a world where lines of what is risky keep shifting, how do you decide when to push that, or also, though, when to hold back at that?
That's my whole show tonight, going to extremes, is completely about that. How do we go further with humor? It's always humor. It's easy to be shocking. It's easy to, but we got to startle ourselves too. Our side we have to make fun of. Our side we have to challenge their rules too, not just both sides. That's why I'm in the middle for the first time ever in my life, that the right wing, the crazy right wing, the crazy left wing, they both have no humor. When I was young, they did. Even the right wing might have more humor. I mean, Roseanne was kind of funny when she said, I know why I got COVID. I quit smoking. That was fun. And when Trump said to Harris, Biden hates you, that was the only funny thing he ever said. That was funny. But the left, oh God, they don't ever say anything funny anymore. But if I had to pick, I'd be left. And how smart both of them were, Trump and the new mayor of New York, to pull that off. They were both smart to do that. And it's hilarious that happened. I was surprised by that. Yeah. So they both were smart to do that.
You are famously disciplined. Any research that I've done about you does discuss how you write every day. You read 8, 10, so many newspapers every morning. It was,
Oh, God, every day of my life, what I have to do. Every day, and that's the key to my organization. I haven't had a cigarette in 8,355 days. That's the first thing I write every day.
Every day? Why?
Because I don't want to ever smoke again. It's the only thing I regret in life.
Why do you regret that?
Because everyone I know is dying of cancer. People I know, it does kill you. It's the only thing the government ever told you was true.
I've never smoked in my life.
You're lucky.
My parents smoked all the time.
So did mine, but my parents were straight. I got a carton of Cools in my Easter basket when I was young. And we could smoke in Catholic school in 9th grade.
Really?
Yeah, there was a smoking area.
No.
Doctors recommend Cools. There were ads that said that. What doctor recommended Cools?
I remember it being recommended for women to lose weight.
You had doctors that were. Bridget Berlin was the great. She always got sent to fat girl camp and everything. And she had a show where she did off Broadway, where she was on stage and just called people up and had fights with them, and people didn't know, and the audience would applaud. She'd have fights with her mother on stage. That was the show.
I love that. Who would you fight with on stage as a show?
I would never give anyone the power to let them know I wanted to fight with them.
How do you decide when to stay in control and then just surrender to that chaos?
Well, I'd have to dare myself sometime. It was like hitchhiking across the country, taking LSD again when I was 70, things like that definitely are the opposite of control. To dare myself, to just see I'm a carny. I must have to do stunts.
The first question I thought of that I wanted to ask you was this one. In Pink Flamingos, Divine is proud, filthiest person alive. The line, kill everyone now, condone first-degree murder, advocate cannibalism, eat shit, filth is my politics, filth is my life. If you were to rewrite that in 2025, what would that line be?
Well, I'd have to think of that. I would have to think of that because I don't. Murdering people is not what I'm really into. I had just been to the Manson trial when I made that movie. So that was a definite heavy influence. Their insanity on that was definitely part of it. At the time, it was the hippie years were just ending, so it was breaking every rule you could. I tried to think of everything that you couldn't do as a liberal, too, as anything, that no side could be for what Divine was for, except all young people that were pissed off. And it worked better than I ever imagined it, yeah.
People were screaming it in the streets a few days ago.
Well, the weirdest thing to me is I'm just walking down the street and a person will walk by and say to me, I'm glad I got an abortion. And I said, why did she say that? And I thought, you wrote that line. That's in one of your movies. But and then people will say demented forever. Or they just say lines to me when I'm walking down the street. That's funny to me. It really makes me laugh out of context.
Do you like being approached by fans in public?
They paid for my houses. So I'm respectful. Yes. It's like, yes. I mean, am I happy when I'm on a plane when no one says anything? Yes. But if they do, I'm certainly polite. I don't do selfies anymore because I've gotten COVID twice from doing selfies. Yes. My favorite is Jodie Foster says, they won't let me. And people go, oh, okay. Who's they? Who is they? The autograph police. And only she could get away with it. I think it's hilarious when they say, will you do a selfie or sign? She said, I would, but they won't let me. Such a great line that means what? I don't do selfies. Yes, of course I'm great to people. They pay for my dinner.
You have spoken about joy as doing what you want and being in touch with your audience. What aspects of your work now bring you joy that maybe perhaps your younger self didn't recognize or maybe didn't even value at the time?
Well, at the time, a lot of the movies when they came out were not successes. The Hollywood ones weren't. And today, Serial Mom is really loved, and it was a bomb when it came out at the box office. So that's very amazing to me. I guess at the time, I never thought that would happen, or I never dared to hope, because Pink Flamingos had always been remembered, even then, but more so now. Those old movies play now. Female Trouble. Female Trouble was not a hit when it came out. Pink Flamingos was, Polyester was, Hairspray was. And I guess weirdly, Multiple Maniacs was for what it cost. But that's the only ones that were really hits. The other ones, I got paid big salaries because they were Hollywood movies. So no one treated me unfairly. Hollywood didn't.
At the Michigan Theater, so people show up here exactly as they did in 1928, to see movies, to sit in a dark room with strangers, to experience something that they haven't experienced before. What makes that shared experience, do you think, essential as a cinephile, but then also a filmmaker?
Well, my favorite, I'll tell you the answer to that, but my favorite, my friend Pat Moran, her mother, whenever she used to go to the movies, she said, why do people go to the movies? Sitting in the dark with strangers and wasting an outfit. It's hilarious. I think people go to the movies because they maybe want to get laid. They want to meet somebody. They want that audience experience. I saw Final Destination in a theater. So much more fun than seeing that sitting at home, to see an audience cheering and going crazy and everything. So I think they go to make it an event. They make it to go to see something. It's a compliment. Now, if you're paying to see it in the movie, you really want to see it. I used to go see 3 movies a day on diet pills. I would see anything. And seeing bad movies is important, though, too, to see why they didn't work, especially if you're a filmmaker.
If you could broadcast one song into the mind of everyone on Earth right here and right now, what song would it be?
Maybe the Monster Mash.
Why?
I love novelty records, and they don't make them anymore, except I do. I have 2 novelty records out. I have a Little Cindy's Happy Birthday, Jesus. I have Prayer to Pasolini. So I would do a novelty record, yes. There was no COVID novelty songs. How could that be?
Would you make one?
Well, there already is one, The Bug, that's the last dance they do in Hairspray, where you throw a disease to somebody else. It would have been perfect, called the COVID. Like a variation of that.
You could just re-release it with that in mind.
Yeah, well, COVID's it's still there, though, but no one talks about it.
What is the moment that made you the artist that you are today?
I never call myself an artist. That's up to others. When people say to me, I'm an artist, I think silently, oh, really? I think I'll be the judge of that? History will be the judge of that? Not you? I don't know. I just did what I wanted to do. I'm lucky enough that people got the humor.
What do you hope that your work helps people understand about the world?
That you don't have to fit in. Don't let anybody tell you can't do something. But it ain't going to be easy. Everybody in the world would like to be a film director. Why not? They pay you well and you get boss people around. But you have to figure out a way to do it. So I think the main thing is you have to be driven. And if you're not, you're never going to then get a normal job. There's nothing the matter with having a normal job. I just never could. I worked in bookshops. I had a normal job, and I could work in a bookshop again.